Did you know that 92% of people who set goals never achieve them because they lack a clear plan? This isn't just a coincidence, it's the difference between ambition and directionless daydreaming. Without a plan, ambition is like a fire without fuel, burning brightly for a moment, but quickly fading away. Ever find yourself in such a situation? You scroll through Instagram watching motivational videos telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes and the dream is still just a dream. That's what it feels like to be ambitious but lazy, full of ideas but stuck in a cycle of inaction. Don't worry, I've got your back, as I've been in the same phase as of a year ago. At the beginning of 2023, I told myself this will be my breakthrough year. I have big plans such as launching a business, getting fit, making big diet plans, and finally pursuing the creative projects I've been dreaming about for years. But by December, I had to face an uncomfortable truth. There I was eating a pastry, scrolling TikTok, and watching fitness freak models. I was telling myself that I should start that fitness routine. Yet, just like last year, I was still in the same spot I'd been in when the year began. Well, I needed to make the progress I wanted. My business idea were just ideas, my fitness plan was scribbled in a notebook untouched. And those creative projects, they were still sitting in the someday pile. I felt stuck, ashamed, and deeply frustrated. But I know I'm not alone in this. If you dream big but struggle to take action, this might sound familiar. You're ambitious but lazy, one of the most painful combinations. You don't need to work harder, you need to understand why you're stuck. So let's break it down. When your dreams are huge, they can feel paralyzing. You may want to build a six-figure business, write a best-selling book, or get in the best shape of your life. These goals are inspiring, but they're also intimidating. Where do you even begin? Therefore, I woke up each day with a list of 20 things I should do, but instead of starting, I'd scroll through TikTok or binge Netflix. The problem wasn't I didn't care, it's that I cared too much. The size of my goals overwhelmed me, so I avoided them altogether. Yes, this thing hits hard. It's not just a fear of failing, but of proving to yourself that you might not be as capable as you hope. You daydream about the success, picturing the moment of, you made it. But when you sit down to do the work, doubt creeps in. What if it doesn't work? What if I need to do better? To protect yourself from disappointment, you procrastinate. However, ambition without a plan is chaos. Without a clear roadmap, it's easy to drift. I'd spend hours watching productivity videos on YouTube instead of being productive. I was busy planning but never did because I didn't know how to take the first step. A simple example, and I know we've all done this, is designing the perfect study schedule. You pick the time slots, add breaks, plan proper meals, and maybe even color code it for extra motivation. You shut the notebook, feeling unstoppable, convinced that tomorrow will be the day you finally start your ideal study routine. Then boom, you don't even wake up on time the next morning, and that carefully crafted schedule out the window before the day even begins. It's a cycle we know too well. But let's be real, social media, video games, and Netflix are designed to hijack your brain. Why struggle with a tough project when you can just scroll TikTok and get a dopamine hit in seconds? I'd convince myself, I'll just check Twitter for 5 minutes. An hour later, I had not made any progress but memorized 10 new memes. This constant pull towards instant gratification made it nearly impossible to focus on long-term goals. Now it's time to discuss what happens if you don't address this. Imagine it's 5 years from now and you're still in the same place. No progress and same struggles. You see someone else living the life that you wanted and it hits you. They just started when you didn't. Trust me, this realization can be crushing. You don't want to be the person looking back wishing you had tried harder. Every time you break a promise to yourself, it chips away at your confidence. You start feeling like a fraud. For me, I'd tell friends, this is the year I'm going to crush it. But deep down, I knew I wasn't following through. The worst part, I felt like a joke to myself. But you know what? The hardest truth is that time is finite. Every day you waste is a day you'll never get back. I used to tell myself, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow turned into a week, next month, next year. Before you know it, years have passed, and you're still stuck. So how do you fix this? I learned that the first step is to break down your big goals into small, manageable tasks, because big goals feel less scary when you break them into tiny steps. We often make the mistake of looking at the finish line, overwhelmed by how far away it seems, instead of saying, I'm going to write a book. Start with, I'm going to write 100 words today. Start small. Progress builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. And just like you don't leave your warm blanket on a chilly morning to go out and work, that's how it feels when your ambitions are buried under comfort and delay. Remember this, success lives on the other side of discomfort. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I started taking cold showers, not because I love freezing water, but because I wanted to train my mind to do hard things. Over time, this mindset shift made it easier to tackle difficult tasks. I also began dedicating just 20 minutes a day to my goals. That's it. Just 20 minutes. I know it sounds like nothing, but consistency is everything. You don't have to commit hours on end. You need to build the habit. Over time, that 20 minutes will grow, and suddenly, you'll realize you're no longer lazy. You've become a person who takes action. By the way, every failure is a lesson in disguise. It's easy to let fear stop you from starting, especially if you're a perfectionist. You're afraid that what you create won't be good enough, or you'll mess up and feel embarrassed. I've been there, but I learned something powerful. Done is better than perfect. So embrace imperfection. The best ideas don't always come in polished form. They come in a mess. One of my biggest struggles was getting over the fear of imperfection. I used to spend hours adjusting and reworking things, but I wasn't progressing. Things started moving once I shifted my focus to just finishing the task, even if it wasn't perfect. It's better to have something finished and modify it later than to keep spinning in place, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. We all know Thomas Edison famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. He didn't see those failures as defeats, but as progress. Take my example. When I started my YouTube channel, my first video got 3 views in a month. It would have been easy to quit, but I didn't. Instead, I analyzed what went wrong, made improvements, and continued. But even with all the dedication to a routine, it's easy to stay on track. Accountability is crucial here. I found that telling a friend about my goals and progress made me more committed. The external pressure of knowing someone was expecting results pushed me to show up every day. There are also great tools like habit trackers or productivity apps to help keep you on track. When you check off that box every day, it reinforces your commitment and holds you accountable to yourself. And yes, don't forget to celebrate small wins along the way. Every step forward is progress. Reward yourself when you finish that first paragraph or get your workout in. The positive encouragement will keep you motivated even when you don't feel like doing anything. For example, I remember the first time I hit a milestone in my business. It wasn't a huge win, but I treated myself to a small celebration, and it felt like I just conquered the world. Those little victories are what kept the fire burning, especially on the days when motivation is low. I assume that it's clear to you now that motivation is a powerful force, but it's not enough. Motivation fades, and when it does, you're left relying on something far stronger, which is discipline. Motivation can't be trusted. It's a fleeting feeling that comes and goes, but you can build discipline, and once it's in place, you don't need to depend on motivation anymore. You'll do the work even when you don't like it. On top of that, discipline is the foundation of everything. Building discipline starts with setting clear boundaries. For example, create a deadline if you want to write a book. If you want to lose weight, set a specific time to work out each day. Discipline comes from structure, and without structure, you'll fall back into your old lazy habits. One of the best ways to build discipline is to make your goals non-negotiable. You decide what you're going to do and you do it. No excuses. So now it is crystal clear. Start small, like make your bed and do the dishes. Show up for yourself consistently, even in the little things. I used to laugh when people like Jocko Willink said, make your bed, but now I get it. How you do one thing is how you'll do everything. Small wins lead to big changes. Now, do you realize that laziness isn't the problem? It's a symptom of something deeper. You're avoiding the discomfort that comes with growth, the pain of discipline, the effort of hard work. It all feels too much. But here's the real fact. The pain of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of regret. It might feel tough to push yourself today, but the regret of not trying is far worse. And exactly, this is where the real transformation happens. The magic happens when you're willing to do the hard things, even when it feels uncomfortable. I hated working out, but now it's just part of my routine. It's uncomfortable, sure, but it keeps me growing. You've got to push yourself to do things that feel hard, uncomfortable, or even a little scary. When you do that every day, something incredible happens. You change. You transform from someone who talks about goals into someone who achieves them. That's when you realize your potential and wonder why you didn't start sooner. You don't need motivation to make it happen. You just need to show up and do the work. And here's the best part. Once you put in the effort, you'll look back and realize you've grown into the person you've always wanted to be. Not because you waited for the perfect moment, but because you made the moment perfect through your actions. In the end, it's okay to feel stuck. But remember, staying stuck is a choice. You've got the dreams. Now it's time to build the drive. The power to change is in your hands. And today is the day to start. Take action today. Write down one small step towards your goal. Share it in the comments, and let's hold each other accountable. No more waiting. Discipline will take you where motivation can't.